Hey guys, it's Russell here, and today I'm going to make a very honest video, right, about the whole Sony film rights thing with Spider-Man and all that. So the first two Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi were actually very good. They were very well received. Unfortunately, then came Spider-Man 3. I When I first saw it one Christmas Eve with my mom, okay. My honest thing about the Sam Raimi trilogy is that Sam Raimi does an amazing job. I think Uncle Ben, Aunt May, J. John Jameson, Green Goblin, and Doc Ock, and Harry Osborn as well. I think they're the best parts of that trilogy. You know what I mean? Like, but here are the two little things that I don't particularly like about that trilogy. Is that I know all you guys love Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, but to me, like, I just don't find him funny enough. You know what I mean? Like some of his jokes aren't that funny enough as my favorite Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield. You know what I mean? Like, and his love interest Mary Jane is completely unlikable, and she only serves as a damsel in distress story. Now, Ross Johnson, I know you're not really a big fan of the Amazing Spider films, but I just want to say something that Andrew Garfield was not the reason those films failed. And neither was Mark Webb, okay? Because Sony ruined the franchise. The whole reason why the franchise was rebooted in the first place was because Spider Man 3 wasn't a good film. Like, and Sam Raimi himself did not want Venom in that film, right? He didn't. He just wanted Sandman. He also didn't want New Goblin either. He also didn't want New Goblin either. Originally, he was going to use the Vulture, and Ben Kingsley was going to play the part, and that would have been very good. But then Sony, no, use Venom. And Avi Red was so greedy and dirty towards Sam Raimi and all that. He just interfered in his work and all that. Now, originally, there was going to be a better version of Venom in that film that was going to be animatronic, which actually looked better than Topher Grace's one. Because when people saw Venom on screen for the very first time, they hated him. I thought the casting in that film was absolutely terrible. I thought the actor did a terrible job. His acting wasn't taken seriously. His motivation was stupid, right? The character wasn't done right. He wasn't likable. His design wasn't that comic accurate, because in the comics Venom's supposed to be like really, really big, and he's supposed to have that tongue thing. You know what I mean? And Topper Grace didn't have that one, kind of like what Tom Hardy had. But yeah, I just couldn't take that Venom seriously, right? And the whole thing with Sandman killing Uncle Ben and all that. Like, Andrew Garfield is such a huge fan of the character Spider-Man, Ross Johnson. Like, he really is. He loved him ever since he was a little boy. You know what I mean? Like, and he really loved his Uncle Ben and Aunt May. Okay, now I do admit, doing the origin story for that film wasn't really necessary. But you have to admit that his chemistry with Emma Stone and Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy had a beautiful and tragic relationship. That's why it's considered one of the best superhero couples of all time in the Spider-Man series as well. Way better than Toby and Kirsten, and it's also better than Tom and Zendaya. No offense to them, but Tom and Zendaya also did a very good job in those films as well. But I just find Andrew Garfield more funny, and some people on the great characters Wikipedia say that he's more interesting than Tobey Maguire, and I can see why. I really love him. I loved him from the age of 11. From the age of 11. But the thing is, his Spider-Man was based on Ultimate Spider-Man from the early 2000s, way before the Sam Raimi trilogy even began. That was a more modern, reimagined take on the character. So that's what he was based on. He wasn't based on the Stan Lee version, but there are some elements that he did use from Stan Lee, like his cocky, funny, quippy personality. and his now some people did say that his suit is the most comic accurate, and you have to admit that's very achievable. And he said that playing Spider-Man broke his heart because of the way Sony treated him. The reason why they let him go wasn't because of his films. It's because he was sick to show up to a Sony event, which is really stupid. And Mark Webb actually had way better versions of those films, right? And Ross Johnson, did you not feel that Andrew Garfield was, I don't know, different, more emotional, more character characteristic or something? Like, do you think he was different and better than he was in those two films? Like the scene when he's talking to Tom Holland about losing Gwen Stacy, that he got rageful and bitter. There was a scene after when Gwen died where Andrew Garfield was going to beat the crap out of his Green Goblin, right, and almost kill him. So that's what he meant. But then Sony cut it out, and that scene in No Way Home when he saved MJ was emotional, breathtaking. It was actually one of the best parts of the film. I would call that one of the best redemption arcs in cinematic history. You know, I just think Andrew is my favorite. I just and listen, like, Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3 wasn't that likable when he did that stupid upside down kiss out of character thing with Gwen Stacy in front of Mary Jane behind her back, and the whole thing with the symbiote, and then he smacked at Mary Jane in the face and all that. Just it felt so out of character, and some Raimi fans didn't bother about that. Like, and the whole thing with Sandman killing Uncle Ben. Like, I mean, it was Raimi's idea, but nah. I just feel like, yeah, that's it. I suppose. Like, I just look up to Andrew as my favorite. And ever since his films came along, he was, blamed for. I just think he showed more emotion to his films, different than Toby. You know what I mean? Like, just I mean, there are a lot of people like me who do love him. I mean, the first one was brilliant. The second one was a little bit mixed over studio interference. And Mark Webb didn't even want Green Goblin in that film. He didn't want Rhino either. Now, I will admit, Rhino was terrible. Actually, he was actually really bad in that film. But that's what I'll admit. And we didn't need the whole Sinister Six thing and all that. Now, originally, Spider-Man 3 was going to have Venom. Sorry, the Amazing Spider-Man 3 was going to have Venom before it got cancelled, right? But I just think, yeah, that's it, I suppose. I think Andrew is my favourite Spider-Man. See you guys. Bye. And I hope you guys understand that, Sony is the reason why it keeps getting rebooted. Okay? Bye.